Hey, it's Ayla, and you are listening to Not That Kind of CEO. Today's episode is for you if you keep bumping into the same problem, the same lack of business growth, the same feeling of not being where you hoped to be. In this episode, we're going to dive deeper into the lack of business growth that many mompreneurs are experiencing. And I'm not necessarily talking about being unsuccessful completely, but it's about not being where you want it to be by now. And that's what I see a lot. Lack of business growth is not a lack of skill. It's not a lack of a big enough audience. It's not a lack of tools or a lack of systems. So stick around to find the best way to move past this plateau and start making that business growth that you are craving. Hi, I'm Ayla, and I am not that kind of CEO. You won't find me in a fancy corner office, but rather in a quiet corner of my home. I followed a bold vision and built my life and business around it. That's how I ended up in France, where I'm raising two little girls, renovate our 500-year-old castle together with my husband, run a coaching business, and still have space to breathe. After a decade of helping women simplify their business to make room for what matters most, I created this show to help you do the same. Let's build your business around the life you love. Welcome to Not That Kind of CEO. Hey, love, welcome back to the show. I'm so thankful that you are here today. I'm very well. Thanks for asking. I was just thinking, like, I hope she's well. And then I started making small talk in my head. Today's episode is about, well, as I said, it's a mistake that I see so many mompreneurs make. They're feeling like they're not good enough, not seasoned enough, not where she wants to be in her head. Because I think that goes true for a lot of it. For a lot of us, there is some place that you want to be, that you want it to be by now, and you're not. And somehow you think that others can sense that too. Like that's what I always like about this is you set something for yourself and then when you're not achieving it, you feel like the whole world can see it, but the whole world can't. It's just you. And I can see why you think it because in a lot of other places, it's true. It's often true. For example, if you start a new sport, it would be ridiculous to believe that we would become world champion like in a month, unless you find a loophole or you are an insane unfound talent. You know, one of those chess masters who just like, oh my god, she's a genius. I always, I always dreamed about this. Sorry, a little side note. I always dreamed about this when I was younger because I had so much physical impairment because of my body. Like that's another episode. It exists. The episode exists. Um, but I gobble of books who are about the female heroine just founding a hidden talent, like an untapped strength. She turns out to be like a fey warrior or something. And when I was working on my final thesis in college, we said that we were going to go skydiving when we turned in the project. And so we did, like in the weeks up to it. I was just saying, and I was working with these two dudes, like two very normal dudes. And I just kept going on about imagine if we were going to skydive and it turns out you could fly. But you've never jumped out of a plane before, so you wouldn't know it. Like, what if this only manifests now, like when you're flying, when you're jumping out of a plane and suddenly you go, the Spider Man, no, what's his face? Superman move, where you put your fist in front of you and off you go. I would just go on about this. And the two guys were just like, uh huh. And I would just go, imagine if jump out of the plane and I could fly. I couldn't fly. I fell down. I had a parachute, so, no worries there, but I could not fly. So, unless you find a loophole or you have an unfound talent, it's not realistic to think that if you started a new sport, you'd become a world champion within a month. And when you translate this to business, this is why we are all so eager to if someone on Instagram is giving away a freebie with like 50 viral Reels hooks to make your Reels go viral without putting in any effort, you just go, yes, comment 50 hooks. And how to make passive income. Those videos, like those niches, are they're booming because everyone is hoping for that loophole. But until you find it, and I really would love for you to find it, but until you find it, address this mistake of not feeling good enough first, please, because it's also kind of a loophole. The thing is, if you're not addressing this, you're keeping everything up to a standard that you have set for yourself. And this is where it gets interesting, it's often based on other people's $1 million brands or businesses. And when you keep believing that everything that you're putting out there should be of that standard that you have set for yourself, what's going to happen is that you're going to hesitate. You're going to hesitate to post out of a fear that it's not good enough. Whether this is social media, whether this is a podcast, whether this is your newsletter, anything that makes you visible. Because in an online world, and also in an offline world, to be fair, it's about visibility. Like people can buy from you if they don't know you exist. This is also true if you are a local business owner. Like if no one knows that you're there, how will they find you and buy from you, you know? If you want to grow your business, you're going to have to be visible. And if you're hesitating to post out of a fear that it isn't up to the standard that you set for yourself based on that $1 million brand, then that you're not going to be visible. The other thing here is that very often people I work with, they are visible, like they have a decent following, but they're still not putting out their offers. And that's usually because it's out of fear that isn't up to par or as good as offers that others are putting out. It's either going to be like imposter syndrome, or it's going to be like, yeah, but they have something similar and theirs looks so amazing. The consequence of both, like hesitating to post and hesitating to putting out an offer, is the same. No business growth. My kid, my Juliet, who is turning 7 in May, she's learning to write right now. And it looks horrible. It's absolutely unreadable. She makes all kinds of weird spelling mistakes. The kid does not know how to hold a pen. Like we laugh at it because she's very artistic. She loves to sketch and she loves to paint and she's very free when she sketches and paints. And so she holds her pen when she's writing as if she's about to sketch a masterwork out of thin air. I know she's sort of holding it in her fist, but in a very loose wrist. She needs to something in a little square or a little round. Like if she needs to write an answer in something, she doesn't care about the box. Like she'll write right over it. Like doesn't she's so free. Anyway, if she were to compare herself to my writing, my handwriting, my spelling, the level of me speaking 3 languages, she would probably just wither and stop. She would not continue to write because she could never match what she's writing right now to how I'm writing. And I'm not saying that I'm a great writer. Like my handwriting is terrible, but at least it's readable and at least it makes sense. If you are judging yourself based on someone else's $1 million brand, and you are not yet a $1 million brand, then no, like you're not gonna compare. When I was talking to my VA who's doing my videos about the styles of videos that we like, I was like, I really like Leila Hormozi's style videos because it's just her talking in a seat. Like no, she's not doing weird stuff. She's just sitting there talking. But to make it interesting, they have a lot of graphics on screen, but not crazy graphics, but something that actually supports the story. And both my VA and I decided, we're not there yet. She has a full team. We're not there yet. And that's fine. And that means that I'm not going to compare my videos to her videos because it's an uneven match, it's as if we just came out of the Winter Olympics and speed skating is like Holland's national sport. So I've been watching it. Like if it would be so insane if I were to put on ice skates and just say to Jutta Leerdam, I'm gonna race you. No, I would lose. It's not gonna match, The what I see happen a lot and that pains me a bit is that many women are out there thinking I'm not yet good enough and therefore I don't have the business growth. And that I just want to ask you, like, is that the only possible meaning there could be? Or could it maybe also be that you don't have the business growth because you're blocking yourself from taking action? Take my kid with her writing. I'm sure that she'll be writing better in even a month's time. And that's just because she keeps doing it every day. So that's what it basically boils down to, isn't it? Like you've heard it before and you'll hear it again. But if you are gonna be taking action before it feels perfect, before you feel ready, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn what works. You're gonna learn what works for you. You're gonna learn what grows your audience. You're gonna learn which tools you like. So, like, when you get there, you already know. Like, that's great. So, you don't have to keep stopping. You don't have to keep stopping further on along the way because you've already learned stuff like this. And therefore, you're proving to your brain that you are safe because your brain likes to be safe. Your brain does not like to be unsafe. And if your brain is feeling safe, that in turn is making it easier to snap out of all the overthinking and then just take action, which you're now not taking because you're not feeling safe. Like that's a beautiful loop right there. And when you are out of your head so much, you're going to be more present because you're no longer so stuck in your head. If you just keep sitting there overthinking, you're like halfway present in the world. When you become more present, you're inherently making the quality of your output better because you're there. You're not thinking while you're like, imagine if you're thinking about creating a social media post and you're overthinking it because you want this post to convert into new followers. You're going to be half present with that thought while you're writing. Does that impact the quality of your writing as opposed to if you're sitting there and just pouring your heart out into a social media post, you know? And then all this starts to you taking baby steps. And we all know that taking baby steps lead to having big as results. So if you're now wondering what to do, because you're like, yeah, I can see myself in this, I can see myself actually not feeling that present or overthinking all the time, overthinking every step that I want to take because I'm like, is this the right action to take? Like, are the experts saying that I should take these steps? Is this a messaging framework I'm now applying? You know, when you keep thinking, and never taking action, uh, uh, this is what you can do. 80% ready is ready. I always love that. I learned it a good while ago, and it's something that I apply well every day to everything basically because my 80% is definitely someone else 100%. I can definitely tweak words on a sales page until I grow old and can't see the computer screen anymore. Like you could tweak stuff forever, but is the person that's going to land on your sales page actually going to sit there and go, "Oh my god, I think this was only about 80% ready when she when she launched this sales page." Or is she going to sit there and read and it's like, "Oh my god, this is actually applying to me. I really want to buy this." So just throw it out there. 80% ready is done, like a minimum viable product. Launch it, tweak it later if you still feel like you can improve it, but launch it and move on to the next thing. Start making those baby steps. Next thing you can do is becoming aware that the bar is that bar that you set for yourself. It's not set by some industry standard. It's not like a bunch of witches gathered around and was like, we are now declaring the bar for freebies. You know, that fuck that. No one is setting any bar except you for yourself, usually based on someone who's way ahead of you. So if you're gonna pull yourself up to their level, yes, please go do that. And you know what? Strive to be as good, but then not post something because you don't think it's as good. You know, keep them in your visor and aim for their level, but then realize that that is the bar that you set for yourself, you know? Last thing that you can do, well, it's not the last thing, of course, but it's the last thing that I want to discuss with you today is learning how to stay present and not get stuck in your head all the time. When you're able to do that, you can just focus on the task ahead of you and then see when it's done. See when it's like at the 80%. Stop overthinking it. Just be present and stay there. And that's easier said than done because if you're prone to overthinking and not taking action, then this is a state, like this is a halfway present state that you're in a lot of the times. So this is actually I want to offer some help on if you need it. If you feel like you're someone who's overthinking, I have a resource that will immediately help you with learning how to stay more present. It's a short guide on how to best process your own thoughts so you can actually transfer them from thoughts into action. And if you're now going, Ayla, I ain't stupid. I know how to process my own thoughts. Do you really know how to process your own thoughts in the most effective and efficient way? Or are you doing something because someone said to you that you should do it? For example, journaling. Are you journaling because you are processing your thoughts in the best way when you're journaling? Or did a business guru that you're looking up to say that she's journaling 3 times a day for half an hour and you're like, I'm going to do that too. But maybe it's not even working for you. So if you're like, okay, I would love this. I would love how to process my own thoughts in a way that's gonna help me gain momentum and take action and stop the overthinking and actually just take action, then this is for you. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can grab it. And then I hope it will help you. I am also hoping to see you in the next episode because this is the conclusion for today. And I hope this helped. I hope this helped you overthink less and get into gear. And most importantly, like if there's one thing, like the TLDR of this episode, realize that you set the bar for yourself. Like that's the thing. You can overthink. Overthinking is normal, I think, for women as well. Like we just have the overthinking, scrambling brains. But you just want to take action. And if you realize that the bar that you set for yourself is the bar that you set for yourself and not set by someone else. That's the thing that I want you to take with you from this episode. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to Not That Kind of CEO. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Not That Kind of CEO. If this episode gave you clarity, encouragement, or just even a moment to breathe, I'd love it if you left a review. It helps more women like you find this show, and that means the world to me. And if you're ready to build a business that fits your life, you know where to find me. See you in the next episode.